the City. What is going on, St. Louis City fans? We are back with another episode of Soul of the City. Today is September 21st. Last night, there's a different smell in the air. We've had playoff baseball in St. Louis. We've seen what that looks like. We've had playoff hockey in St. Louis. We've seen what that looks like. Last night, I got a whiff of some playoff football in St. Louis.
Football. It did feel like a playoff game.
It
for
did.
Sure. It had that kind of feel. Like the tension was high and the energy was also high from the people at the stadium. I know that we saw some of our friends there. I think Riley also got to be media there. So sad he can't make it today. But it wasn't the crazy game we normally expect to see at City Park. But I don't think it was all bad, even though I would have liked to get a win.
Yeah, I was pretty content with the tie, all things considered. We saw in our first time facing LA, it was tied for 75 minutes, and then they still ended up scoring 3. So that's what I was kind of worried about happening this game. When the 75th minute rolled around, I was like, all right, here's where it starts to get, here's where they start to score.
Yeah.
But yeah, this definitely felt like a Western Conference final preview for the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought it was an electric game, even though it ended 0-0.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my girlfriend last night, and she was like, how's the game? I was like, it was amazing. And she was like, what's the score? I go, 0-0. But, like, you got to understand. Yeah.
You just got to watch.
Yeah.
It was electric. It was just back and forth almost the whole game. I think that there might have been 10 or 20 minutes of the game that was kind of dull, like in each of the halves, maybe. And that's about it, because it was either us in their third or them in our third for like all of it. And it ended 0-0, but I didn't feel like anyone defended very well. So
yeah. What do you feel like was different in this game as opposed to last game against Los Angeles? Because it had similar feels for the first 75, and then like you said, like we started getting worried, but something different happened in this game. What would you point to?
I think it was just having that core of like leadership players on the field, because I believe last time we played them, we started Hebert and Josh Bell at center back. Neither of those guys are like leaders in the team. I think Leuven started that game, but I'm also not sure about that. Yeah. And we didn't have Klaus at that time. We just didn't have a lot of our key players. And the minute that we made substitutions, it broke the cohesion that the team had already found on the field, like that kind of ragtag lineup that we saw play them last time.
In LA?
Yeah, in LA.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, the substitutions were also necessary because it seemed like they were kind of strung out after 75 minutes on the field. Last night, I thought that was one of the key differences is Carnell made subs around like the 58th minute mark.
Yeah.
Partly because Blom went out with a slight knock.
Yeah, hoping he's all right.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Like our win-loss record, I think without him, we're like 5-8 or something like that. And then with him, we have a pretty winning record.
Yeah, like you said, though, no Stroud, no Klaus, no Leuven. It was Bartlett and Josh Bell who started the first time we played.
Dude, Bartlett is like a ghost of this team now. I haven't seen him in like years.
He has a shoulder injury.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Nerwinski and Nelson, who...
They started that game?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a completely different
Totally different lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last night, when everyone saw this lineup, our whole group chat was like, horny.
Yeah.
This is the lineup. This is the one we needed. I think I personally would have liked to have seen Gio somewhere in there. I don't know who for. I think Sam, he's been in such rare form. As soon as he's available, you got to give him the nod.
Agreed. I liked Sam's performance last night, actually.
I did
really
too.
I thought he put in a really good shift. I feel like he was beating their back line on pace.
Yeah.
Like multiple times. I think he was 3 for 4 with take-ons. So that was really good for Sam Adeniran.
Yeah.
He also had the highest XG chance of the game. We can start into that.
Yeah.
Leuven had a good shot in the first 8 minutes. Markanich, he floated a ball into Adeniran in the first 12 minutes.
Man.
I feel like this is probably the most pivotal aspect of the whole, like, point of the whole game.
This is
the first 12 minutes.
Yeah, because we're dominating up to that point.
Yeah.
We are holding the ball into their third and like constantly recycling and trying to create chances, and then I don't know, man. How do you guys feel about the whole MLS with VAR and
I don't honestly
handballs?
understand it.
Yeah.
To me, that was a penalty on Chiellini. It hit his backhand. What did you see?
I saw it hit. I'm pretty sure it hit both of their hands, to tell you the truth. I thought
I think it
Chiellini hit it into the other defender's hand. But my thing is, like, the whole MLS is like, the MLS's mentality with VAR is like, if it's not clear and obvious, don't overturn it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, how is that a clear and obvious error when literally the replay shows it hitting his arm?
In an unnatural position, in my opinion. I thought it hit the back arm of Chiellini as he's jumping out.
Yeah.
It's like way out here.
It's not against his body by any means.
No.
Like, both of their arms are outstretched out in the air, and it hits them. I guess, like, maybe there's a rule where if you hit it into another player on your own team, it's not a handball.
Count.
Like, is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't think that is a thing.
No, that's not a thing. It would still be a handball.
Taylor Twellman was adamant on live
I honestly
television
kind of agree with him because I
that
think
it wasn't a handball.
Yeah, because I think the reason why it hits his hand is because he's coming down from a jump, like hitting the ground, and whenever you hit the ground, like your arms are gonna kind of like fly out. Like I wouldn't say it's totally unnatural, and I think the only thing that you could argue for it is that it's blocking like Sam Adeniran's flick on, but I think Chiellini actually like hits it into the other defender and then it ends up hitting his hand. I don't know. I just don't like the inconsistent refereeing because there are so many opportunities for us to get a handball in the Sporting Kansas City game, in this game, and then we get called on bullshit like the Sam Adeniran one, which like
It's against his body.
by the law, it's a handball. But
it was just ripped at him from point blank range. And
yeah,
it's his hand is on his body. I don't know. It seems so inconsistent throughout the entire MLS season.
It seems only inconsistent towards us.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that other clubs feel this way.
There were 3 potential penalties, handball penalties, for us in this game, and we didn't get a single one. At least 3.
I thought that was the worst one.
Yeah, that was definitely the worst one.
Yeah.
The other 2. Like, one of them was definitely on his body.
Yeah.
But I don't think there were any other penalty shouts in this game.
Yeah.
I think the rest of it, but this like decides the game, in my opinion.
If we score first in the first 12 minutes, we're winning 3-0.
It's a rout, honestly. Yeah. It may look like that Cincinnati game where we scored early in like the 6th minute and just went on to beat them 5-1.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, but after that moment, the momentum definitely shifted. And 25th minute Oliveira for LAFC, he has a blistering shot off the post.
That guy was cooking us.
Yeah, he was
cooking.
Honestly, their whole front line was very good.
Yeah.
Oliveira, Buanga, like, they were just doing whatever they wanted and getting shots away. I mean, luckily, Tim Parker, Nielsen, and Berkey were all playing amazing.
Kind of out of their minds, honestly.
Yeah.
They really were.
And honestly, Roman, like, I voted for the man of the match in the app, and I voted for Nielsen because I thought he had the best game on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he only had like 8% of the votes. It was like 70% Roman Berkey. And like
Berkey also had a really good game.
How many saves did he have?
Diving saves 1, saves inside the box 2. Does it say just total saves? Total saves 2 for 2.
I don't know if that's accurate, but
yeah, I don't know either.
I honestly don't know that it was a lot more than that because I feel like
it says
he didn't get to that Oliveira chance. That just comes off the post, and then Buanga hits it out. He saves that bike from Chiellini we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And then he saves, I think, an opportunity
header,
like
maybe
near post, and then maybe a header, and that was about all that I remember. No one generated great shots. There was a lot of like attacking presence, just no finished product.
Yeah.
And that's what concerns me about our lineup, but we can kind of get into it as we kind of progress through the game.
I mean, you guys kind of already talked about the bike that happened.
The Chiellini bike.
Yeah. What else happened in the first bit of this game? I guess
I mean,
Morkanich, he kind of like was cooking defenders.
Honestly,
up the middle.
He looks good.
Chance,
He megged Murillo.
Yeah,
their
Buanga
defender.
got that back in blood though later in the game, like 4 times on Akil Watts.
Oh,
Buanga, like
he's scary.
He's scary, and he honestly wasn't for quite some time. He went like 10 goals in the first 7 or 8 games of the season, and then just had a giant dry spell.
Wasn't he hurt?
I thought he was
while?
hurt as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
would
I know he scored a double in El Tráfico.
I think that was his
before-
first game back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'd been hurt for a while.
Yeah.
But
Who would you guys rather have on your team, Hani Mukhtar or Denny Bouanga?
Mukhtar, honestly.
Mukhtar as well.
Yeah.
He can just do more. Bowanga's like just an elite left winger in this league.
Yeah,
So-
I just think you can make so much more happen from the cam position. Like when you have a more free role and central role in the team, you're just gonna
Yeah.
run it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Halftime came and I was like, all right, this is pretty even. Like
Yeah.
we're in it. It's not like they're human, you know?
Yeah, and we looked just as human. It was incredibly even the entire time.
Yeah.
Like it ended up being what 0.98 to like 1.03 xG or something ridiculous.
I thought it was even closer. I thought it was in the sevens. They had
For
Bombs is 0.76 to 0.74. So St. Louis City had 0.02 more XG.
yeah, that's the FOT mob one. I
Yeah.
think that because the MLS
There's different plays. Yeah, different.
they do different ones. I don't know.
stats.
Yeah, but I can't even like think back to one incredibly clear-cut opportunity in that game.
I'll give you the best one according to XG.
Okay.
And you wouldn't remember it because it wasn't memorable, but then whenever you go back and watch it, they don't show it on the actual highlights on YouTube, but if you go back and like rewatch the game, 47th minute, Watts is just given a lot of time and liberty to dribble around, floats a cross in from the right side to Sam Adeniran, who's got a absolutely wide open
Free header. Yeah,
Free
I do
header.
remember that.
He's a little bit farther away. Like he's definitely behind the penalty spot whenever it happens.
Yeah.
But he's completely free, and that RXG on that one was 0.13, and that was the best chance of the night for us. So
Yeah. I mean, the best chance for them of the night, I
Yeah.
believe, is 0.14 with a Chiellini header. So,
yeah.
What was that bike? I wonder what the XG on that bike
Oh,
was.
I looked it up.
is that in the 58th minute?
Yeah.
Is that what
I
is
looked
that
it
what it
up.
was?
Yeah. Oh, that's what their
Yeah, that's
best
their
chance
best
of the
chance
game?
of the night was
That's
technically
crazy.
a Chiellini bike. I don't know. What did you, let's talk through the lineup and kind of see what you guys think, because I thought AZ looked poor.
Yep.
I thought he looked a little bit lost in this game.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know if it was fitness or because he played at the weekend.
They've been playing a lot.
Yeah, they have been
Yeah.
playing a lot. That's why I thought we would see like a slight bit of rotation. And then behind AZ, we actually saw like a triple pivot of like 2 8s and a 6 with
Yep.
Blom, Vasilev either side, and Leuven on the other side.
I like that look. I feel like it gave Vasilev and Leuven like more creative liberty
Freedom,
to go
yeah.
forward. So
On the one hand, yes, I think we have found some success with that formation. But I think we lost the midfield battle this game.
Yeah.
Like, far and wide. I think Kellen Acosta and Ilie Sanchez, like, they were just winning every single ball, every single loose ball, every 50-50 ball, it seemed.
Yeah.
I think I saw Aziel Jackson. He was 2 for 11 ground duels.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was just ugly.
So he got pulled in the 59th. I think Carnell saw that too. And I think he slotted Joa in underneath.
Yeah, and
Or he had 3 strikers on the field.
Yeah.
it honestly looked like Klaus was playing the 10
Yeah,
for a
kind
little
of
bit.
the-
Kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad idea either. I think if anyone's got the best hold-up play on our team, it's him. So, punt it up to him,
Him
hope
and
that he can
Adeniran.
distribute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all 3 of them looked pretty good yesterday. When
I
Gio
agree.
came in, I thought that he had some great interplay and hold-up play, and then he had, I think, that one opportunity near the end of the game where everyone is like,
Yeah.
bro, you have to pass this. But
That was insane to me.
It was insane because prior to that play happening, Berkey saves that Chiellini chance.
yeah, and then just boots it.
And then and then I think it goes out to Klaus on the left side. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the crazy Berkey distribution.
Yes.
I'm talking about a chance prior to this one where after the Chiellini chance it goes out to Klaus. Klaus plays defense in the bottom right corner and then drives up on like the third of our pitch. He's like on the
Right
on the
past
sidelines.
He's on the city
Yeah.
third.
Mhm.
Plays a inch perfect pass all the way to Adeniran on
Yep.
the LA third.
Like,
He has
totally crossed the field.
Yeah, it
like,
was
total
it was an
diagonal.
unreal ball.
It was
Yep.
insane.
And a great touch.
Someone was like, Klaus KDB?
yeah.
No.
Leuven
But-
who?
Leuven who?
Yeah.
He had some great He played great per usual. I thought that he was good. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like he had
so?
a few, like he had some really good long balls, and like threaded the needle a few times. But I thought he lost the ball way more than usual.
I think he's just prone to that. He dribbles a lot, man. It's not always a bad thing because against worse teams, I think he can get away with it and make things happen. The reason why I say he had a good game is because whenever I'm looking for a moment of quality or something that's a little further thinking than just the easiest pass that you can currently see, it's always him. Like any kind of reverse ball, I remember him playing a reverse pass into Vasilev, and then Vasilev looked lively, but I thought his touch last night was pretty poor. There was one opportunity where he plays that reverse ball to Vasilev, and Vasilev can play a 1-2 with AZ if he doesn't literally just blast it into AZ's stomach.
Yeah, I saw that. That was kind of a little too hard.
But no one on the pitch had that quality all night.
Yeah.
This formation allowed Leuven to get outside like by himself a few times this game. So I like that was like created. They like created a pocket for him because sometimes he's getting double marked and it's kind of annoying to watch. They just know everything flows through him.
Yeah, I think like I said before, we lost the midfield battle for sure. And I honestly, like, we looked the most dangerous when it was Klaus and Adeniran linking up together. Like, Leuven had a couple times progressing the ball up to them, but honestly, I think Klaus was our best performer of the game in terms of offense. Like, he created the most chances. I mean, I don't know if that's actually true, but I feel like he did from the eye test.
We can verify.
I was about to say, I can look up the stats.
He created two
did look
chances.
good.
Yeah.
I think it was just no two people could ever make it happen at the same time. Someone would do something good, try to pass it and make like a 1-2 happen, and the other person would just shit the bed. And that was all night long. A lot of times it was Klaus making.
I think it was just a credit to LA's midfield as well. And like there's probably an LAFC podcast out there right now talking about how the same thing happened to them.
Like they couldn't find that moment of
because
quality.
we did probably lose the midfield battle, but we also didn't have a terrible. I think that's because Blom went out early. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. I don't think he's been looking like himself.
Yeah, he's like fatigued or something.
Games.
Yeah, he's definitely fatigued.
And honestly, I think Leuven looked a little bit fatigued as well.
He played at the weekend, so we won't see him.
I guess no way he's playing against Minnesota.
I'm assuming Gio will start. It'll be a pretty rotated lineup. I assume.
And Klaus played the full 90 the past two games as well, right?
I would probably rest all of them because we do have Sporting right after that
coming
as our
up,
fixture. So
is that a midweek game or?
I think we actually have a full week of rest, so it's Saturday to Saturday. Yeah.
That's nice. We finally don't have to,
rest players versus our rivals. Yeah.
They were like talking about that in the actual game broadcast. Twelden and whoever else was talking. We're talking about how important it is. They were talking about LAFC a lot for a St. Louis broadcast, but the
big market.
Yeah, they were talking about how important it is to find that starting 11. And I think this is really close to what it's going to end up being. I think that we will have to change a little bit about the way that we play. I think we're trying to be a little too direct and like expect Zhao and Sam to just make magic up top, make something happen, and score a goal. I think that, if anything, we need to get players wider. And that's probably where like Stroud comes in because he does get wide. And Ulm. Yeah. Like I like seeing AZ on that left-hand side. I think that worked out really well. I just think that we've got two like 6'3" and above strikers. Put it on their head.
That's what I was thinking.
At some point.
And honestly, we did that in the fair amount of times this past game against LA.
Yeah.
Markinich and Watts were both whipping in delightful crosses.
And that's why I like them getting the start
over
maybe somebody who's more defensive-minded and who wouldn't let Bawanga run past him so easily.
I'm not going to lie, though. Jake Nerwinski looked amazing when he came on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
I was just waiting for the one moment that he gets cooked and they actually score. That was the moment I was like waiting on.
That would have just been unfortunate because he actually did like he connected some crosses. He locked down Bawanga. Obviously, he had fresh legs, so that's that's helpful in that scenario.
He's not the paciest man in the world. I wouldn't necessarily think he's locking down Buonga, so I was pleasantly surprised.
He recovered the ball 6 times.
Hey, there we go, Jake.
Yeah. He only got dribbled past once. But, better
he just has,
than Akil
there
Watts.
is no attacking bag at all for
He'll
Jake
whip in a
Nerwinski.
cross, but who knows?
Dude,
if
not
it's
even a
accurate.
good cross. It's just going to, fly past the goal. I remember one point in the game, Gio had some hold-up play and, brought down a ball really nicely and then backheeled it up the line to Jake Nerwinski, and I don't even want to, it's already cleared out of my brain what he did with the ball, but it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I liked Stroud coming in late.
Yeah, the energy. It's good.
I feel like that was a great move by Carnell. I feel like we're quick to criticize a lot because it's more fun and it's, but give Carnell his flowers whenever he deserves it. Like the Stroud sub at the 78th minute, I think brought a lot of energy and allowed us to close that game out 0-0 and not give up.
Yeah.
Give it up late.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that when we're talking about the Gio substitution, I think that the reason why he takes that chance on himself.
Let's talk about that first. What happened? Berkey played the best ball of the entire night.
Yeah, it was like Allison to Salah.
It was a line drive,
Yeah.
literally 10 feet above the ground, but it went the entire distance of the pitch.
Joe, if you watch it back, he picks that ball up, receives it in the opposing penalty box.
Yeah, and it's
That's
crazy.
How dimed it was.
Because, it was such a perfect run and pass that the goalie couldn't come out and get it. There was no way he was getting to it first.
Unreal.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful by Berkey. And honestly, beautiful by Joa.
Yeah.
Great
at
run.
first, because he makes the run, and then he receives, takes his time, beats the man, I would say, pretty comprehensively, and then decides to shoot on his not favored left foot when, after he beats that man, the center back that is guarding Sam Adeniran decides to step because he's like, oh, my guy got cooked. And Sam is just waiting there with his
top
left
of the
foot.
box, completely open.
I feel like that's a goal. That is an absolute goal.
Sam Adeniran is scoring that 9 times out of 10.
I think
he is.
And Gio just rolled it to the goalie.
Yeah.
With his left
I think
foot.
it was in the air, but it was
no,
I
thought he
definitely
fluffed it.
Bounced 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. I know he would love to have that chance back, and if he could, he would definitely pass in that scenario.
I think if he could, he would just.
But what were you going to say about why he took that shot?
Well, I think that with the wealth of riches we have up top, not starting one of them is going to create an environment where when they get in the game, they feel like they have to prove something.
Yeah.
And that's what I think ends up making Gio not pass that ball. Is he's like, dude, I got to prove that I deserve to start in this team and get my spot back.
I got to score.
So I need to score.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I just cooked this dude. Boom. And,
if
the rest is
he
history.
cooks that dude and then assists Sam, I feel like the same result happens though. He would have proven himself and his worth. 1, crazy run, 2, great touch, 3, the awareness, beat the man, 4, had the awareness to play it off instead of shoot.
I think part of it is that it's Sam on the other end of that, because I don't think Klaus is getting pulled from this lineup, whereas Sam and Gio or Jawa are fighting for a position.
Yeah. None of that calculation goes into effect
while
in
you're
that moment.
standing
so
there.
He's not sitting there I'm not passing to Sam because.
But leading up to him coming into the game, he's on the sideline bro, I gotta change this game. Carnell's you gotta get in there and make things happen. You are the guy that's gonna win this game for us. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go win this game for us.
Yeah.
And you know what's the worst thing about it for me is something that I've been very interested in seeing is all 3 of those forwards playing together with Gio as the number 10 instead of AZL Jackson. And it's instances like this that make me think it's not going to happen, because if Gio is selfish, the job of a 10 is to find the open man, create the goal, not necessarily score it yourself. Obviously we know Gio can score. But if he's going to take on that shot and not find someone who's wide open, that makes me think that he's not cut out to be the 10 behind Klaus and Sam Adeniran.
35 matches, 1 assist.
Yeah. Well, he's been playing at striker.
That's true. I'm not gonna. I'm feeding into the Gio slander
that is
right now.
Slander.
Yeah, but that does not tell the full picture, and I fully understand.
he's our top goal scorer.
Yeah,
and up until recently, he was in kind of contention for the Golden Boot in the league. Like, everyone was tied at 13 for a little while, and he was kind of slowly creeping up to like 10 goals. I don't know, man. I just think that if we're going to see this kind of performance from AZ in the playoffs, it's the kind of performance that might lose us a game because our offense isn't going to be potent enough.
Yeah.
I feel like AZ's performance was strictly on fatigue. I still am like a stand for him to be in the lineup.
Okay.
I think he just he plugs into that 10 spot better than other people do on our team.
I feel like I would like to see AZ out on the left and Leuven, or even no, I would like to see Leuven at the 10 and AZ on the left. Just switch those two in that diamond. I think that'd be very interesting to see because, I mean, AZ's definitely faster than Leuven.
Oh, for
and
sure.
if he can break into space, like Leuven had so much space in that game against LA.
Did.
So it would be really interesting to see what AZ could do in that. And I feel like Leuven probably has a better like control of the ball in tight spaces, which I think is conducive to playing in the middle. So
I think that's true. I also think that it won't ever happen because Leuven a lot of times will almost drop in deeper than Blom just to keep the offense like ticking. Last night saw we had more possession. They were like, we know how you guys want to play. We'll give you the ball.
Yeah.
And they wanted to play counterattacking football. And the only thing that kept us going was Leuven.
It's true. It's true. He does contribute too much on defense to really play the 10, I think. I mean, he could definitely do it, but I think we would just need to have maybe another defensive-minded midfielder in addition to Blom.
Especially with Blom possibly not playing the next few matches.
We'll have to see what that
we'll
injury...
Have to see. Like, Leuven might have to slot back into more of a 6 position.
Might end up as like a double pivot with Vasilev kind of taking up that center defensive role.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want Vasilev to be...
further up the pitch.
Yeah, I want him to be out there. We had one more chance in like the 95th plus minute on the final kick of the game. Leuven has a free kick and Parker gets ahead to it, and that actually had a pretty high XG, I think, but it didn't look that great.
No, it just went way over the goal.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Yeah. But there was a whole bunch of situations where St. Louis City could mathematically clinch a playoff spot, even though all of us already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
We talked about it like 3 episodes ago. Like, this is pretty much a wrap.
Yeah.
Mathematically, it happened last night. Portland would have had to lose their game, but they won their game. And then there's a whole bunch of draws that went down, and I think it ended up being on
Minnesota
versus Galaxy, and Galaxy ended up beating Minnesota, so we've officially made the freaking playoffs.
Yeah. Which
we already knew that.
Yeah. My thing is like the commentators during the game last night literally would not stop talking about all the different scenarios of how St. Louis is going to clinch the playoffs. Like, if we don't clinch the playoffs, that means we lose every single game, and like, I don't know, 9 other teams go undefeated or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what the odds of us clinching the playoffs are. Obviously, we're going to clinch. I just want to know, are we going to get first or are we not? Because that's what really matters.
Yeah.
When it's time to talk about that, it's when it's really like the end of the season, and they're like, oh, if LAFC wins this game and St. Louis lose, then St. Louis will drop from first to second. That's actually important.
Yes.
But like, we shouldn't say, like, we sound spoiled as fans if we're like, we don't care, we're gonna make the playoffs. Like, it's our first year as a team.
What I will say is, like, not just like, you can't just make the playoffs. Like, winning this number 1 seed, being the highest seed in the West,
is a big deal.
It's a big deal for how the playoffs in the MLS is structured, because the number 1 seed in either conference, West or East, plays the number 8 or 9 seed, who play in like a wild card play-in game. And so you obviously want to face one of those teams. But then it becomes an even bigger deal in the first round of the playoffs where we would play them. The higher seed always has home field advantage. And I feel like
the whole way through?
Yes. Yeah. Like, not just the first round, the second round where it's the Eastern Conference round of best of 3 series. So that's the first round. The second one is the conference.
Best of 3 get all 3 games at home?
No, they get first one
and third one.
So you get, which is still a big advantage. Like, you don't see that. I don't know. You don't see that in Champions League. You know, you get 2 games. So
yep.
I'm surprised they don't do. I mean, obviously in the Champions League, you're not factoring in like some kind of points from the league or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. But
the final is played in a neutral location. In this situation, the MLS Cup final, will be played in the team's stadium that has the higher seed. So then I was like, well,
What if it's two
what
one
if
seeds?
it's 2 1 seeds? What if it's 2 2 seeds?
Yeah, right.
well, I'm sure that it's number of points then.
Or is it supporter shield ranking? Probably.
Yeah,
Could be.
that's what I would assume.
Oh, okay.
It goes to supporter shield whenever it comes down to the
Okay.
final. So like,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
sadly, there's 3 or maybe 4 teams in the East that could pip us on that. So we would end up having to play in
Not if
Columbus.
we're playing at home, though. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, like if we're playing at home, we have an advantage.
Oh,
Like a
I was just saying if we make
super-
the MLS Cup final and 1 through like 3 or 4, I forget the number of points that they have in the
In the East.
but there's like 3 or 4 teams that have.
We're gonna have to look in if it's actually based
it's
on
points, yeah.
points, because right
technically
now,
only Cincy would beat us because we are a first seed and they are a first seed, and then it
Yeah.
would be like points. So they
if
would
that's
pip
how
us.
they do it, but
Right.
I don't know, kind of crazy.
It must be based on points, because or else how would they?
Yeah, what else
Between
would they
the East
do?
and West,
Yeah.
yeah. Interesting stuff. I'm glad that City did a great job to secure a point last night, and honestly, we've been pretty harsh. I feel like on the team the past few games, like getting points on the road is a big deal. Like we could have won, but now looking back on it, I'm like first in the West, and last night they did what they needed to do to maintain that.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard someone make a good point. I don't know if it was the commentators, but they said if LA beat St. Louis in St. Louis, like they would have all the momentum to go and win that
Yeah.
top spot in the West, which
And
I think is
Not
true.
to mention Seattle.
Yeah.
barking at they have 45 points. They won last night as well.
oh, they're
Yeah.
above LA.
They beat
Yeah.
Colorado 2-1, but they do have to play Nashville on Saturday.
yeah. Well, and it was important not to lose last night's game because I think most teams that come to St. Louis and have come to St. Louis know that like this is going to be a tough night.
Yeah,
Whereas LAFC spanked us in their building. And if they came here and beat us here, even if we retained that number 1 seed,
Yeah.
they would walk into City Park during
So
the playoffs
confident.
or
Feeling
something,
good.
feeling like, bro,
Yeah.
we've done this. We've been here before. Like, we know
Yeah.
what we're doing.
I don't feel. They felt like they could have gotten a point or 3 points there.
I mean, I feel like we could have gotten
feel
3
like we could have
points.
gotten 3
Yeah.
points there. It's just like a battle of 2 juggernauts. I hope that is the Western Conference Final. Honestly,
Yeah.
man, we got some pretty big games coming up though.
Yeah, this next one.
The next,
Minnesota.
our fixtures coming up are going to be tough.
We need to get revenge in this fixture. It's the Kyle Hebert revenge story. Because he's the one that just ruined this one for us last time.
No, didn't we win?
No,
No,
we did
we
not
lost
win. We lost
1-0.
1-0. Kyle Hebert red
At
card
home.
penalty.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have fallen off a cliff since then.
You think so? I mean,
They were undefeated when we played them that time, I think.
yeah, that's true, but it wasn't like they had a bunch of wins.
They had
It
a
was
bunch
like,
of draws.
Yeah.
Wins and draws.
Yeah. I mean, what position are they in right now?
They're in 10th
10th.
right now.
Like,
Yeah.
not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's not that good, but they did just lose. Oh, yeah, they lost to Galaxy, lost to Sporting KC, tied New England, tied San Jose. Their last win was against Colorado, who is actually in last.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, not too worried about them. They do have Timu Pukki,
Yeah, he has 4 goals for them, I guess.
but he just came over in like July, so
I mean, it's
hasn't
been a
played
while
bad.
since July, man.
yeah, I guess.
I'd have scored more than 4.
In the MLS?
Yeah, Billy Sharp put a hat trick past them to win that game that they just played this last weekend.
Battle of the Championship Strikers.
Yeah.
Billy Sharp beat Timu Pukki.
Timu Pukki, yeah, that's true. Dude, fun fact, Roman Berkey, there's the XG stat,
Yeah.
expected goals. There's
Prevented.
also expected assists. He had like a 1% chance to get an assist on that ball to
Gioacchini.
Gio. Yeah, or Giova, yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Minnesota, they probably won't get our best team on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
It's in Minnesota.
it's in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
It's going to be cold.
It's not going to be fun.
Yeah, we do kind of need these points, though, because
Yeah.
Seattle's – who do they play next? They play
Nipping at
Nashville
our
next, but they're
heels.
also real close. LA didn't pick up any points against us. That's nice. Well, they picked up one. Whatever.
Yeah, it's good. It's just we are notoriously poor on the road.
Yeah.
And these last 4 games, we've got 2 home, 2 away, right?
Yeah.
I think we see Casey for a 3rd time for God knows whatever reason.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it
I
too.
need to see him
I
at
need to-
home again.
Yeah.
I
After
need
that
to
last
get those
game,
points back that we
Yeah.
lost. to 'em.
exercise some demons after a full week of rest.
Rest and
Yeah,
training.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Plus, rest Leuven this next game. I don't want to see him versus Minnesota.
Problem
I-
is, he's going to come in if we're like tied or losing.
No, I am very actually worried about this game in Minnesota, considering the fact that it's on the road. It's our 3rd game in a week. Blom is hurt.
Yeah, like
Everybody's gassed.
Everybody has to sit. Like Nielsen's going to sit. Parker's
Yeah.
probably going to sit.
You know who doesn't have to sit?
Who?
Denron, Gio, please.
Scary Jerry.
Yep, that's true.
Scary
Hey,
Jerry's got the
I would-
wheels.
I would like him to play, honestly.
Yeah, I would too.
Doesn't matter
Um,
how cold it is, he's going to be sprinting.
Yep. Israel Jackson, you can sit. Rasmus Alm.
He's playing.
Hopefully he's
Put
back.
him in the lineup.
Yeah.
Yep. Nokvi, I hope you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Still a little disappointed with Novi, I'm not going to lie.
We haven't seen a whole lot of him yet.
Yeah, he just...
He just has players ahead of him.
Yeah, and touted as a winger. I just want to see him on that left-hand side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're ever going to see that with Carnell. I think he's just buying a player for like a profile that he wants to like plug the player into.
He wants a left winger who can cut inside and bang.
Yeah, but we don't even play a left winger.
Yeah, that's what like
So why did he want that?
Well, because we got 3 strikers now that are all pushing in form. So
I do think it would be interesting to kind of play with a different lineup against Minnesota. Maybe a 4-3-3 even with Nokvi and Alm, or maybe Stroud on the right. But just considering the fact that we're probably going to rest Leuven, Aziel Jackson probably going to get rested, and also he hasn't looked that good.
Mm-hmm.
Blom, hopefully he's back. I don't know.
Joa needs a start.
Yeah, he's
Just
gonna
to
get a
stay-
start.
just
I
to
think
stay
Joe
fresh.
is starting for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Denron probably comes in off the bench. I don't think Klaus starts.
Mm.
Do you guys think he starts?
I
know.
don't think so.
I think honestly what's going to happen is the Joa and Adeniran link up is what we're
Yeah.
going to see.
Yep.
Which I would be happy with, honestly.
It's nice that that's like, we know that that's not our A lineup, but it's still really freaking good.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I don't think Nokvi really fits in as a 10, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but he doesn't really fit in as a striker either.
Yeah, true.
I just feel like we bought him for whatever reason, and now we're having to put a square peg in a round hole.
I think we just give him a off season with Carnell.
Yeah,
and,
I
like
agree.
understanding
Mhm.
everything and like getting acclimated. He's still relatively new, so I'm not ready to.
We might also go back to the 4-2-3-1 formation.
That's true. And we could see him out on that left-hand side,
Yeah,
and then Vasilev
maybe-
maybe on the right.
Yeah, or probably Celio on the right, and Vasilev, I bet, plays more of a pivot.
yeah.
True.
Because if Leuven's getting rested. Although I think Vasilev's played the last 2 games, right? Did he play
He came
last
in.
I
Saturday?
think he came in, yeah.
Okay. Because he played like 89 minutes this
Yeah.
past game.
And it's worth noting that Akil Watts got pulled off in this game. I don't know if that's because he was getting cooked by Bouanga.
Well, he got moved to CDM
Right.
first.
And I think that may be related to that injury because he is our replacement CDM
For Blom.
for Blom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll probably see a Nerwinski and I don't know, will Marcanic play? Like he's young, but I don't think we need to like
Yeah.
run him ragged.
I feel like we have so many left backs that we could play in that scenario. Like
Yeah.
maybe Johnny Nelson, maybe Hebert gets a start.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Johnny
I feel like
Nelson
neither-
wasn't even a sub, though, in this past game.
Yeah.
Neither was Alm.
Yeah.
Alm's different. He's an injury.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
He
that's
was
true.
recovering. Nelson just out in the cold.
I mean, what other substitutes did we make or substitutes were available in this game, I guess?
Hebert.
Hebert was on there?
Hebert was on the bench. Yeah.
Yaru. Yara will start. Hebert,
Yeah.
Ben Lunt, and Celio. Okay. Yeah, I'd probably bank on Celio getting a start too.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, we have good depth
Yeah, we do.
for this game against a 10th place side who's not really. I mean, they scored 3 against LA Galaxy, which is
Conceded 4, though.
What bodes well
Yeah,
for us is
true.
that even if we're not playing our strongest lineup, and let's say worst case scenario, Minnesota beats us, Los Angeles has to play Philadelphia Union, and Seattle has to play Nashville.
Yeah.
So
Two
this is
great-
like the one weekend where we're like kind of short-staffed, and I'm not unconfident that we won't win. Double negative.
Yeah.
But it's good to have like those big matchups for LAFC and Seattle coming too on this weekend.
Yeah, I just feel like with a 5-point lead, if we win this game, it's not like one of the 6-point swing kind of games. Even if they go lose, but it's still, 8 points ahead if they both of those teams lose their games.
That would be
Like,
huge.
that's huge.
Massive.
With
Yeah.
only 3 games left.
We'll probably end up resting in the last week because we'll be clear in first.
Although, don't we have a bye week before the first week of playoffs?
Let me double check that.
It's because of the
Because of the wild card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wild card.
It's shaping up to be an electric end to it, man. Like you could really have Seattle, St. Louis match up on the final game of the season.
For first
battle
place.
Or
for
first
first.
place in the West.
Yeah.
Like a mass. Talk about playoff football or soccer in St. Louis. That's gonna be massive.
And Seattle spanked us last time, and it was like right at the beginning of the year.
They didn't play us at home.
Yeah. Also, we hadn't figured out everything that we
Yeah.
know now.
Yeah, that's true.
We have new pieces now too.
We've gone through like several iterations of this lineup.
We've
where we're-
evolved.
Evolutions is
Yeah.
a better.
Yeah. I just remember being like, Hebert's the best center back on this team. That dude doesn't even touch the field anymore.
I
No
still
offense, bro.
love
think
him
you're
as a
good.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's still great, but
yeah.
I don't
Watch
know.
him come back next year is just like a killer left
Yeah.
back. Like
That's
just
true.
locked down.
He could.
Is he even left-footed?
No,
Isn't he
he's not.
right-footed?
Yeah. All right, watch him come back as a killer right back.
There you go.
I don't know. Score predictions for this
The
upcoming
weekend?
Saturday versus Minnesota. What do you guys think?
I will predict a 1-1 draw because I think that Ostrak's going to start, which means we're
Yeah.
doomed.
Man, he was playing a very deep-lying role when he subbed on against
Yeah.
LA.
And-
that was a weird
Okay, but it worked.
position.
He didn't. I don't feel like he messed up
Dude, somebody-
egregiously.
He got an egregious yellow card, but
It was tactical.
it was
Yeah.
tactical
Yeah.
after a egregious Stroud giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stroud was like
that was terrible.
blazing up the field and just dribbles dead into someone. And then he's like, bro, now they're going to like counterattack and I got to get a freaking yellow card for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a vicious tackle.
Yeah, it was. He's like, you're not going anywhere, bro. Legs, come here.
I'm going to say St. Louis in the end of the season, they get a 2-1 win on the road here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also feeling a 2-1. And I think if we win this game, that would just be so absolutely huge, especially if LA and or Seattle drop points.
Yeah.
Like, if we could get an 8-point lead with 3 games left, like, we're not losing that lead.
Yeah. And as long as we don't do anything drastically awful, even if we're tied for first at the end of the year,
Our
say
goal differential.
our goal difference is the
speaks for
best in the league.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Very
LAFC, technically 6 points behind us, so we allow them to catch up. We can still be good. It's just Seattle that I'm worried about, honestly.
What's the goal difference for the top 3 teams in the West?
18 for us, 6 for the Seattle Sounders,
Wow.
and LAFC is 10.
That's unreal.
Yeah, parity league.
St. Louis.
Minnesota -1.
Goal differential?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't remember this the last time? It is just
Well,
the
it's- I know it's low
block
block team.
lull you to sleep
Yeah.
and hope to
They
score on a
are
counter.
Here's what's-
1-0, 1-1, or 0-1 merchants.
This
Yes.
is why it would make sense to start Adeniran and Klaus at the same time versus Minnesota. I know that we can't
because
like,
you can
we
just
need to
ping
rest them.
balls in the box.
Yeah, but that's how you beat your low block team.
Mm-hmm. No, having
how
a,
you do
a
it.
big number 9. It's,
2 of them.
yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah. I don't know. We did say that Joe should probably start this game, so
I think he just has to because of fitness. I mean, Sam hasn't played that much because I think he just came back in this game from that red card suspension.
Yeah, he missed the weekend.
But I don't want to risk getting Klaus injured.
Didn't he play the full game against Galaxy?
Yeah, he played the full game against Galaxy and played the full game here. So
Yeah.
it's just not worth it. I don't want to see bad management tactics by Carnell that results in our best striker getting hurt.
He played 70 minutes against Galaxy, but still.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Jonah, what's your score prediction for this weekend?
He said 2-1.
I said
2-1
2-1 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. You guys got anything else for this one?
Come home, City. I love the atmosphere outside last night's game.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
You got some content out there, right?
Oh yeah, we got
All
some
right.
good content. There's gonna be good video dropping soon. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
appreciate all the support. We will see you guys on Sunday.
Yeah.
After
Please
the game.
like, comment, subscribe. Check out Arch Rivals.
Send us Venmos.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we drop our Venmo?
No.
If you want to sponsor the pod, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. If you just want to give us money, hit us up. That's cool too.
All right. Thank you. Peace out.
Peace. Thank you for watching this episode of Soul of the City, brought to you by First Touch Media and Anchor FM. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thank you for watching.